Okay, hi everyone. Today I'm going to do a review of the Manfrotto 561 BHDV monopod. It's a really fantastic monopod. I've been using it the last couple of days in some other portrait shoots and outdoor shoots since I've had it, and it's just been amazing. Something I definitely can't live without anymore, and I'm just really happy that they made this such a fantastic product. So the short answer to this is, if you don't want to watch the whole review, buy this thing. This is absolutely wonderful and amazing, and it's perfect for photo shooting. I wouldn't recommend it for camcorder shots, but you could definitely use it there. I find it a lot more useful with this monopod with a ball head, and it gives you so much flexibility getting a really stable shot because of the monopod and getting able to get lots of different angles. So I'll show you the ball head a little bit later and how I use this. But we'll go over all the little parts up top that we have here and some of the cool things underneath it. Now basically the specialty thing about this is actually a monopod that has little feet. And the little feet end up helping it actually stabilize and actually kind of work like a tripod. And as you can see here, this is actually just standing on its own. And if I just move it, it'll rotate on the gimbal that it's on. And if I go back and recenter it, there you go, right back where it is. Now, I've actually used this and shot this with my SLR with a pretty big lens, and it's had no problem staying upright. Now, of course, I've always keep, as a safety, the camera strap around my neck, or I'm at least holding on carefully with the little strap. But other than that, it's actually been holding up really well. And it's kind of, like I said, it works kind of like a tripod slash monopod. Though, again, I wouldn't recommend put anything too heavy or crazy, or if it's really windy and just walking away from it. Wouldn't be a good idea. But okay, give me a minute and we'll go over each of these little parts and I'll show you all the little cool features. Okay, the first thing I want to go over is actually the top plate, since we have it here. The one thing it's kind of nice to know, if I rotate this over here, is see it actually comes with a red little release level here, and of course there's some adjustments there, but let's talk about this red release lever. Right now, as you can see, it's pretty firmly tight on there. Back on this other end, there's actually a locking mechanism. So if I loosen that, notice that there's actually a nice little notch there, so you can't overflip it or push it too far. As soon as I loosen that, this plate moves. So say I need to move it back slightly, or if I need to move it forward, you can always relock it and reposition it. Really nice. The other thing is that since there's actually a safety lever, you can't accidentally, slide this off your camera and drop it or whatever else. It stays nice and stiff. There's a nice little, like I said, locking mechanism that prevents it from falling. So if you go back the other way, all I have to do is press this partially, and it goes right out. As you can see, like I said, there's the bigger thread mount right there, and there's just the rubber gasket or cover. It comes right out. Oh, there goes that one. There we go. Here's the bigger thread, and then there is a secondary thread for the smaller thread counts right here also. That's also included. So if I put this down here for a second, and I rotate this, I can show you too. You can see that there's actually two little thread mounts right underneath here that these fit into. So it gives you a nice little carrying area to have them there with you at all times. So just a nice little additional feature that's nice to have. So in case you're ever need to switch between stuff, you have them both with you always. Like I said, whenever you know which one you want, just go ahead and put these guys right back in, and you're good to go. So anyway, once you have this, you have your plate, the right screen that you want, you're ready to mount it back on. Just push it through, slides in, go back to our little tightening screw, tighten that thing in there, and you're good to go. The other cool thing is there is actually a leveler, just a little bubble level here, so if you need one, it's got one included, which is nice to have. But there's two of these little panning attachment areas. This model, the 561 BHDV, comes with one panning head, and if I loosen this, you can kind of see that I can adjust obviously the size or whatnot if I wanted this a little bit or whatever, but it basically locks right in. And if I want to attach another one, I can. A second one goes right here. So again, really nice to have if you have two panning heads to rotate for whatever reason you can if you want to. And then finally here we have the just an adjustment for rotation for panning. That's actually where we're going to use it if you want to rotate this over and above and yada yada yada. And it's relatively fluid and does have a little bit of resistance where it actually goes back into place. So it actually pushes back. So if I push this forward and I'm ready to go, it's got a little bit of resistiveness to kind of help you move it right back into place to have that nice smooth fluid pan. Okay, let me show you the feet where the main action is really going on. And as you can hopefully see, there is a 3-part piece right here, and these snap in and out really well. And the tripod just comes out real easily, really smooth. Feels a little loose, but I've noticed that that's actually not a bad thing. Makes them really easy to fall out of place rather than just being kind of stuck and really have to pull out. So other than that, really, lightweight, really good. And then again, here we have our little feet, and as you can notice, there's a little rubber gasket on the bottom. And what that's for, nice, is that in case you just want to use just a standard monopod, you can still just rest it on the ground and use this little rubber feet in the center to move it around. Of course, if you do want the feet, which is what you probably will want to do, you can just pull these up. They snap right up, and you're ready to go. And here you can probably hopefully see the gimbal, a little ball head. I'm just going to move that around there. Instead, it moves pretty well. When you get these new, they're going to be a little stiff. Some people might want it a little bit looser. There's actually a screw underneath here that's in the instructions that tells you can loosen it to get it to go a little bit smoother, or you can tighten it if it gets too loose after a while, just from wear and tear. But other than that, it works really great. I like everything about it. The also thing to notice is when you do have these things closed, the rubber plastic here, or the plastic pieces, they're pretty sturdy and pretty strong. I've dropped this a couple times, and you can see it's just been nicked or scratched. It doesn't crack, or I haven't had it crack yet, thankfully. But it's pretty made of a pretty good plastic material. So it's nice to know in case you do drop it or hit the cement like I did, that it shouldn't just break on you and fall apart. But that's good to go. Other than that, like I said, this thing is very lightweight. That's the other thing. All these pieces are aluminum. And really well made. And like I said, this thing extends, I think, about maybe a little bit. It's like a little bit over 6 feet, I think, for this model. So really cool. Overall, fun with feet. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to show you the real power of this monopod. The real benefit comes from the fact once you attach a ball head. I have a Manfrotto 494 RC2 ball head on here, and I like it. It's great. It's a good ball head. You can use any kind that you want. I just bought this one because it got good reviews at the time when I was looking for one, and it works just great. The neat thing about this one is actually because it also has this little self-adjusting little lever. So once you attach to something, you can unlock it, move it around, and then relock it pretty well. But say in case this got a little too close or it's really hard for you to do, you can actually adjust the lever to where that's loose. And when you tighten it, it's up there instead. So it's kind of nice, depending on your preference, where you like it to be. I like mine just flat because it's just the way I'm used to having it. Makes it easy for me, but there you go. But like I said, the main benefit of this comes when you have it on a ball head, because with a ball head, you can now rotate your camera at different angles, which is great. If you want to move left, right, flat, down, wherever you want to go. And you have the gimbal. So if I have the gimbal in the camera, I can suddenly now, rotate this downward, have this bent, have a camera here, or I can move it forward or back, or be at this weird angle. So basically what you're doing is you're basically able to have good movement with the camera and the gimbal on the monopod all over. Now normally you would have been able to do this with a monopod anyway if you just had a monopod with a ball head on it as well. But the tripod, or the little feet, help a lot in stability. And like I said, since it'll stand up, also a nice feature. So when you have both of them together and you're moving around, you can actually really leverage and put pressure down at its different angles that you couldn't really do with the monopod sometimes. Some of the monopod you get way too deep and it'd be a little hard. And the again, because it is a monopod, it's just a stick, right? Basically one long length. Well, you can only rotate over certain angles without extending your length. If you rotate to the left, you're bending this way or right way. With a gimbal, it's actually a little bit easier to move around and get just your shots. You can just kind of move in and curve, move back and curve, go forward and look down, or go back and look up, and all sorts of kind of things that are a little bit easier without readjusting your kind of angle of view versus just a regular monopod. It's kind of hard to describe, but if you've ever used a regular monopod, they're great, but they don't give you as much flexibility. You're kind of locked in. And if you put a ball head in one, that's great too, except it's a little bit harder sometimes to pressure. Works well, but you don't have as much stability when you're pushing on one point as you do with this one because of the feet. Their feet really do make a little bit of a difference. And it does work well. It surprisingly does. Like I said, this combination with a ball head, fantastic. Okay, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you have any comments, please let me know. If you have any other questions or things like that. So there's not too much really to explain about this other than the parts and things I've shown you. really just a great tripod, sorry, monopod, and really like it. Well worth the price that it's going for. I think it's around $200 and something right now, and I would hands down buy this again in a heartbeat without a question. Like I said, I love it with the ball head, and the qualities are great, and it's very lightweight. And the cool thing, by the way, that I do is my photography backpack that I have all my stuff in actually has the little I don't want to say the handle that's atop the backpack. Well, this little panning arm here that's on here, I actually can just slip it underneath and have it just hanging on my back just with that. And so now I can have my photography backpack with all my equipment and lenses, and this whole thing is just hanging off that little strap. Pretty secure because it's already up, it's holding onto the top end. And since it's so lightweight, you don't even notice it, and you can just move on out. So for me, perfect. Everything I've ever wanted, and a really good quality monopod slash semi-tripod thing. Just a wonderful photography tool. So again, thanks again for watching. Let me know if you have any comments. Thanks. Bye.